Barbara! Barbara, stop eating my toes! I was watching one of the Green Dream Project's recent videos, and they did an NPA video, or a native plants and animals video, and they were talking about how it's winter and a lot of animals hibernate to conserve their energy, and how plants go dormant and then spring back to life. And then they suggested that other content creators create their own videos of their own plants and animals in their area. So we decided to do our own video on our native flora and fauna. We're incredibly blessed to have a flora and fauna reserve, a 12-acre reserve backing onto our property. We've also got state forest backing onto our property, as well as a pine plantation. And when we bought the property, we found this list of all the animals and birds and reptiles that were found here on the farm. So we've only been here 7 months, so we haven't seen all these, and this is back in 1982, so a lot of these are not in the area anymore. But we've written a list of all the animals and plants and birds that we're spotted in the 7 months that we've been here. So we thought we would take you on a bit of a tour and show you some of these. Did you guys hear that? Yeah. It's a great white shark! Crikey! So we have quite a bit of flora here, especially because we have the Flora and Fauna Reserve next door. But one of the true iconic plants of Australia are the big, beautiful old gum trees. They are home to a host of animals and birds, and they provide us with a whole lot of firewood through the winter months. This here is the paper bark. So this is the bark of the paper bark tree, and it's incredibly light, and you can peel off the layers. So you can wrap up fish in here and put it on the campfire and cook it. Next to it is a bottle brush, another indigenous plant. You can see a little bit of pink coming through. That's the last of the flowers, and that provides food for the bees. There are plenty of tree ferns in this gully.
Look at that cool mushroom.
You find them in all the mountainous regions of Australia down south. We have
I'll have this.
so many birds here. It is a blessing and it is a curse. Some of them love to eat the fruit off our trees, so we have to contend with that. But they are beautiful, and if you listen, you can hear them. It's just gorgeous to hear. But the birds that we've seen, now there is a huge list of birds that are in this area. But the birds that we've seen, the yellow-tailed black cockatoo, the sulphur-crested cockatoo, pink and grey galahs, corellas, crimson rosellas, king parrots, lyrebirds. Now lyrebirds are really amazing, and I suppose they're called lyrebirds for a reason. They imitate the sounds around them, so they can imitate other birds, other animals. They've even been heard to imitate chainsaws or dogs barking, so they're really phenomenal. We've heard them here and we've seen some of their nests, but we've never seen a lyrebird themselves. They are a very beautiful bird. We've also got bowerbirds. Now our town is home to bowerbirds, and bowerbirds like to collect blue things for their nests. So if they see something blue, they'll steal it. So like blue plastic, a blue flower, blue fruits, any bit of blue rubbish they'll take and they'll pop in their nest. They can be a bit of a pain. They do eat a lot of the fruits. You can see some of our citrus fruits get eaten from the inside out, like they'll start pecking it from underneath. They'll make a hollow on the inside and just leave the skin hanging on the tree. So they can be a bit of a pest, but they are native here and they are pretty. They're not a beautiful bird, but they make beautiful nests. We have 2 wedge-tailed eagles, or a pair of wedge-tailed eagles that live just over there in the forest. Now, wedge-tailed eagles are beautiful. They're amazing to see in flight, but they do take chickens and lambs, so they are a little bit of a pest, but they do call Australia home. There's also the pied currawong, little blue wrens, the laughing kookaburra. They don't really come close to the house. They can do in other places, but we haven't seen them near our house. But we have seen them on other parts of the farm, and you can certainly hear them laugh. We've got welcome swallows here, willy wagtails, and of course the magpie. This is one of our 7 dams, and in these dams we have platypus. Now, we've never ever seen a platypus, even though we've been in Australia all our lives. We've travelled around Australia and we've seen all the wildlife that you could possibly see. But platypus are incredibly elusive. Because we've got 3 kids, it's never really quiet, and when they hear sound, they hide away. But I've been told that there are plenty of platypus down here. The old owners used to see them and have caught some by accident before. And hopefully one day we too get to see gorgeous platypus. In here there's also yabbies, crayfish, eels, and I'm sure a heap of other fish that we haven't seen yet. We don't often come up this part. But you can see a house up there on the hill, and that shows you a little bit of the incline that we have. The bottom of our property is about 400 metres above sea level, and the very top is 500 metres above sea level, which means that we sometimes snow here, but not very often. We're really lucky that we get to see eastern grey kangaroos and swamp wallabies on this bit of land here. They don't often venture on the other side of the creek, but they're often up here and we can see them from their house munching on the grass. There are at least 6 wombats that live on this property. Now, a lot of farmers hate wombats. They create really big burrows and cattle can fall down them and break their legs. And if you're riding a bike, you can fall in and come off your bike and hurt yourself too. So the holes can cause a real issue. They also like to bury underneath houses. Luckily they don't come up near our house. They like to go underneath water tanks and sheds and stuff, and they can loosen the foundations. So a lot of people see them as a pest, but they are a native animal. This is another wombat hole. We get a lot of snakes in Australia. We have, I think, close to 100 snakes, but we've got 21 or 22 out of 25 of the most deadliest snakes in the world. And the snakes that we find here on the farm are the copperhead, we've got the red-bellied black snakes, we've got the tiger snake, and we've got the eastern brown snake. And of course we've got blue-tongued lizards. They are gorgeous. They are a gardener's friend. They will eat all the bugs. They love eating snails and slugs and crickets, and they are just gorgeous. We love seeing them in the garden, and if we're lucky enough we like to try and catch them and hold them and then release them back to where they came from. We have an abundance of frogs. You can probably hear them. But because we've got the 2 creeks and the 7 dams, we just have an abundance of frogs, which is amazing. It means that the water is beautiful and clean. They do attract snakes because that is one of the snake's food sources, but we love having frogs here. It just means that we've got a beautiful, pristine environment. But you can see just about our entire farm from here. is part of the Flora and Fauna Reserve. You can see it's thick with gums. This is the mountain pepperberry. And while we did plant it here, it is native to our area. It's actually a bush tucker food. It was used by the indigenous people, and we're going to use it too. The leaves have an incredibly peppery taste, so like black pepper. They're really fragrant and spicy. It's kicking in. It's like putting 10 peppercorns in your mouth and chewing on them. But the berries are also edible, and you can dry them out and they look like peppercorns, black peppercorns, and we're going to use them in that way. Now I think that's everything that we've got on the farm that we can think of. You get off, Roxy. We are still relatively new here, so we haven't seen everything that there is to see. And of course there are other animals that we have on the farm that are not native. They are introduced, like foxes and deer and rabbits and all those sorts of things. So there's plenty more wildlife here, but we've just been focusing on the ones that are native to Australia and this region.
Mum,